Welcome to another planning video. I cannot believe we made it to December. Oh my goodness, where did the time go? If you're new here, this is my monthly planning video. This is how I plan my month of accounting and bookkeeping and just how I integrate all of my personal events as well into one calendar. So welcome. My name is Adrina. I'm the owner and accountant at Accounting by Adrina, and I'll go ahead and leave a link below for my website, and you can also sign up for my newsletter with the link below. Now, in order to kind of get me kick started here, I do like to look at the previous month's calendar and kind of note a few things. So I'm looking at what I did on the previous month and what my goals are. That's kind of where I start. So my goals right now are mostly getting in more movement in my daily routine. And I decided this month I'm getting better at moving more. So going to the gym to go swimming, yoga, walking, and then using my standing desk. But I find that if I don't have it actually scheduled on my calendar, I'm not going to do it. So for example, I just really thought through my calendar, the meetings that I have already scheduled on my calendar, and just really what's going to make sense for me and when is it going to make sense. So I just decided, and you'll see kind of how I populate this onto my calendar, but I just decided that I would be doing swimming on Fridays as much as I can, and then yoga on Wednesdays as much as I can. And then I used to be really good about walking on Mondays. Every week, I would go to the Rose Bowl and walk with a colleague of mine. And going to the Rose Bowl loop is actually a 3-mile walking loop. And so I used to do that every Monday, just very consistently. And so obviously I've gotten out of that habit now, but I think, even if I just say I'm going to walk around the neighborhood for an hour on Mondays, if I have that already kind of in my head, then I know that that's going to happen. So that's kind of my goal, high level goal. And then I'll just fill in the rest of the time either walking on my treadmill, or I do kind of switch it up for Christmas vacation week. I think you can kind of see that down on the bottom of my calendar, just because I know that there's going to be other events happening. So I'm just kind of giving myself a thumbs up here because I'm I think I can make this happen. I think I can do this. So I did actually go swimming on Friday the 2nd, and that was already on my calendar. So I'm kind of giving myself a high five there as well. So next on the side of my calendar, I have record YouTube videos, and it's been a little bit challenging to kind of get on a good YouTube video schedule to record videos. So I'm putting that on my calendar kind of front and center to make sure that I actually do it. So I did schedule for the 5th, I would record 2 YouTube videos. And then for the 13th, I would record 2 YouTube videos. And then the 20th, I would record 1 video. I'm also working on a series that's going to be coming up in January. So I want to get all of those videos recorded as well. For me, January tends to be a really busy month with all of the 1099 reporting that has to happen, and just the coordinating with my clients, just year end. There's just a lot going on in January for me. So I like to make sure that YouTube and social media and anything else content wise is going to be done ahead of time. So my team and I are sort of working overtime on that because in the month of December, because I just want to make sure it's all covered and taken care of. I don't want to have to worry about that in January. So I am looking at my tablet, which actually combines all of my calendars into one perspective. So that's helping me kind of make sure that I have things that are important scheduled on my paper calendar. I do have an eye doctor appointment coming up this month. So I want to make sure that I block off the time on my calendar to actually go to that appointment and not miss it. I think I've missed it in the past just because it wasn't blocked off on my calendar. And you know how that goes. So next, I'm just making sure that any of the personal things that I have going on that are, Christmas related are also on my calendar. As you can see, I'm looking at kind of like Asana on one screen and Google Calendar on another screen. And so I like to flip back and forth just to make sure I'm covering everything and making each day kind of meaningful for me. I think this, as a business owner and like someone who works alone most of the time, going through this process and making, kind of like these goals or each day, like there's something going on each day, making those a priority on my calendar is really helpful because that gives me a sense of what I'm doing that day, what I'm doing that week. It gives me a sense of purpose, and I know that I'm helping my clients, and I know that I'm also covering, for YouTube and making sure that my contractors are taken care of in the sense if they have any questions or if they need to meet with me, those types of things, and just making sure everything's kind of covered. I did talk with my virtual assistant, and I just telling her, like I want to knock out as many things as I can in December because January is really busy. So I'm like, let's get as many meetings on the calendar that we need to so that I don't have to worry about that in January. I'm going to try and limit the amount of client meetings that I have in January, just so I can stay focused on the reporting aspect. So reporting is just a lot in January, and just giving myself that space and time to do so is going to be so helpful for me in the long run. Next, I usually have like a CEO day scheduled on my calendar for Wednesdays. So that has stayed pretty consistent for me. I think the reason why that's helpful is just it gives me the space and time to actually think and work on my business. So if there's any like courses that I've signed up for, or if there's any finances that I need to look at, I like to do all of that on Wednesdays. And then sometimes if I don't get to it, or if client work kind of bleeds into Wednesday, then I can do that on Fridays. And so I leave Fridays open for kind of like a catch-all, making sure that I can get to any of my emails that I've missed throughout the week, or any other client requests that are coming in. So I have one client that's going through an audit right now, and so I'm just going to make sure that I can have that Friday open if I need to work on any audit reports. Coming up in February, I have another client that's going to be going through another audit. So I'm kind of just going to be in busy/audit season for quite some time. So making sure that I can cover as many bases as I can in December is going to really help set me up for a good start to my year in 2023 for January and February. I do like to color code kind of like my calendar. So I end up highlighting each of the like tasks that I wrote down as a certain color. So like pink is generally personal items. I like to do orange as content items. Yellow is the movement goals that I have. Green is kind of like anything prep related. I think you'll see green coming up. I forgot to write down my prep stuff before I started highlighting. And then blue is anything with like CEO in mind. So that's kind of how I like to think through things. And that's going to be it for me in this video and for December. I hope you have a wonderful December and a happy Christmas or happy holidays, however you like to celebrate. I'll see you in my next video.